For more than 1 billion Muslims around the world, there is one place that stands at the center of their faith: the Kaaba. Located in the holy city of Mecca in Saudi Arabia, the Kaaba is the most sacred site in Islam. Every day, hundreds of millions of Muslims turn toward it while performing their prayers. No matter where they are on earth, whether in a crowded city, a remote desert, or even aboard an airplane, their prayers are directed toward this single building. But what exactly is the Kaaba? Why has it become the spiritual center of one of the world's largest religions? And how did this seemingly simple stone structure come to hold such extraordinary significance? To answer these questions, we need to explore its architecture, its religious symbolism, and the remarkable history that stretches back thousands of years. The word Kaaba means cube in Arabic. While the building is not a perfect cube, it is close enough to earn the name. Standing roughly 15 meters tall and 12 meters wide, the structure is built from granite stones and topped with a flat roof. Covering the entire building is a famous black silk cloth known as the kiswa, embroidered with gold Quranic verses. Although the Kaaba itself appears modest compared to many grand religious monuments around the world, its importance cannot be measured by its size. For Muslims, it represents unity, devotion, and submission to God. The Kaaba stands within the vast complex of the Masjid al-Haram, or the Sacred Mosque. Over the centuries, this mosque has been expanded many times to accommodate growing numbers of pilgrims. Today, millions of visitors can gather there during the annual Hajj pilgrimage. One of the most recognizable rituals associated with the Kaaba is the Tawaf. During Tawaf, pilgrims walk around the Kaaba 7 times in a counterclockwise direction. This ritual forms an essential part of the Hajj pilgrimage and is also performed by visitors completing the lesser pilgrimage known as Umrah. Religious scholars have proposed various interpretations of this act. Some suggest that it symbolizes all creation revolving around God. Others compare it to the movements of celestial bodies through space. The number 7 itself carries symbolic importance in Islamic tradition, often associated with the 7 heavens and spiritual completeness. Yet, for many Muslims, the simplest explanation remains the most important. The Prophet Muhammad performed this ritual, and God commanded it. As pilgrims circle the Kaaba, they encounter several sacred features. The most famous of these is the black stone, known in Arabic as Al-Hajar al-Aswad. Embedded within a silver frame on the eastern corner of the Kaaba, the black stone has fascinated believers and historians alike. Islamic tradition teaches that it descended from heaven and was connected to Adam and Eve after their expulsion from the Garden of Eden. According to these accounts, the stone helped reunite them, and the first altar dedicated to God was built on that spot. Some modern scholars have suggested that the black stone could be a meteorite, although this theory has never been conclusively proven. Throughout history, the stone has suffered significant damage. It was broken during conflicts, stolen by a religious sect, and later returned and reconstructed. Today, pilgrims often try to touch or kiss the stone if they can safely reach it. Importantly, Muslims do not worship the black stone. Rather, it serves as a revered symbol connected to sacred history and religious tradition. The Kaaba contains other notable locations as well. Near the black stone lies the Multazam, often called the place of clinging. Here, pilgrims press themselves against the wall of the Kaaba while offering personal prayers. Nearby stand the golden doors of the Kaaba, elevated above the ground and accessible only by a movable staircase. Few people ever enter the interior of the building. Access is generally restricted to dignitaries, religious authorities, and maintenance personnel. Inside, visitors find a surprisingly simple space supported by 3 wooden pillars, illuminated by hanging lamps, and scented with perfumes used during the annual washing ceremony. Despite its importance, the Kaaba is not valued because of its physical structure alone. Its significance is deeply rooted in Islamic history and belief. According to the Quran, the Kaaba was established by the Prophet Abraham and his son Ishmael. Islamic tradition teaches that they rebuilt the sanctuary as a house dedicated solely to the worship of God. Over time, however, later generations gradually abandoned pure monotheism. Various tribes throughout Arabia began introducing idols and pagan practices into the sanctuary. By the time of the Prophet Muhammad, the Kaaba reportedly contained hundreds of idols representing different deities. In the year 630 CE, Muhammad entered Mecca and reclaimed the Kaaba. One of his first actions was to remove and destroy these idols, restoring the sanctuary to what Muslims believe was its original purpose: the worship of the one true God. This event remains one of the most important moments in Islamic history. Yet historians continue to debate the deeper origins of the Kaaba. Some scholars suggest that the sanctuary may have developed from older Arabian religious traditions. Ancient sources hint that the structure could once have been associated with temporary ritual shelters used for sacrifices and ceremonies long before the rise of Islam. Because evidence from this period is limited, many questions remain unanswered. As a result, the history of the Kaaba exists at the intersection of faith, archaeology, and historical investigation. The Kaaba also appears throughout stories connected to the life of Muhammad. According to Islamic tradition, Muhammad was born during the Year of the Elephant. In this famous story, a ruler named Abraha marched toward Mecca, intending to destroy the Kaaba. However, before his army could reach its goal, God intervened and destroyed the invaders. Another well-known account describes Muhammad as a young man helping rebuild the Kaaba after flood damage. When tribal leaders argued over who should have the honor of replacing the black stone, Muhammad proposed a solution that allowed all tribes to participate. The story is often cited as an early example of his wisdom and ability to unite people. The Kaaba also played a central role in the formation of Muslim identity. Early Muslims initially prayed facing Jerusalem. Later, according to the Quran, God instructed Muhammad to change the direction of prayer toward Mecca and the sacred mosque. This new direction, known as the Qibla, became one of the defining characteristics of Islamic worship. Today, every mosque in the world contains a marker indicating the direction of the Kaaba. Sophisticated calculations, maps, and technologies have been developed over centuries to help Muslims determine the correct orientation. Even modern challenges have required new solutions. In 2007, when a Malaysian astronaut traveled to the International Space Station during Ramadan, Islamic scholars issued guidelines explaining how prayers should be performed in orbit. If the Kaaba could not be accurately located, the astronaut was instructed to face Earth or simply pray in whichever direction was possible. Such rulings demonstrate an important aspect of Islamic law. While the principles remain constant, practical accommodations are often made when circumstances require flexibility. Today, the Kaaba continues to serve as the spiritual center of Islam. Each year, millions of pilgrims travel from every corner of the globe to stand before it. They arrive speaking different languages, belonging to different cultures, and coming from vastly different backgrounds. Yet once they enter the sacred mosque, they become part of a single community united by a common faith. For outsiders, the Kaaba may appear to be a simple stone building draped in black cloth. For Muslims, however, it represents something far greater. It is a symbol of unity, devotion, history, and the enduring connection between humanity and the divine. And for over 14 centuries, it has remained the sacred heart of the Islamic world,